Hi YouTube, welcome back to another video from Wtf Rc Cars. Now this is one that I know quite a few people are going to be waiting on. So this is for the G7P. We have the FS-R7V. Now this is a 7-channel receiver. It can also use the sensors. It does come supplied with the battery voltage detection cable. It's quite useful for a lot of RCs. You can also run iBus and S-Bus on this receiver, but that's not what I think most people are going to be wanting this for. So, like the ones they brought out for the NB4 and Pro, this has Flysky's full stability vehicle control. So it's a full gyro that can also operate the throttle as well. So let's bring you in for a close-up look, and I'll show you how to set this up and show you how to get it connected to your G7P. Right, so first thing we're going to want to do is power up our G7P, and we're going to want to go to his model memory, select a model. So we're going to want to go down to one that's not currently in use. So we'll drop on that, and then just in case I've messed anything up when I've been testing stuff, we'll do a reset. So then we're going to want to name it. So once we've got his name entered, we can go all the way down and just OK it. Then you're going to want to go to your RX menu. You're going to want to go bind set. We can choose between routine and fast. Routine gives you the most solid connection, fast gives you the quickest. So we can then pop onto here, change that to two-way. So we've got either ESC with built-in RX or standard. So we're going to go standard. Your PWM and iBus, you don't need to change this unless you've got a specific reason to. Then frequency, in fact we're using Traxxas kit, so let's change this to something that I'm pretty sure Traxxas will work with, because they're not the fastest ESCs, especially the XL5, but I'm pretty sure it can handle 280. So once we've got all that set, we're going to want to go all the way down to his bind menu. So let's get our receiver connected. So we're going to have a steering in channel 1. We're going to have our ESC into channel 2. So once we've got his battery connected, we're going to want to press and hold his bind button on the new receiver, then start his bind, then power up his ESC. Should get a bind successful. Then you're going to want to come out. This is where we can set as iBus functionality or as sensors if we've got them connected. So then we come down to the set menu. Obviously you'd go through setting your endpoint, sub trim and everything, and channel speed, but then we've got the SVC menu. So if we look in here, the options are we can turn it on or off. Then we've got normal mode or locking, and that just depends how you want the actual car to behave when you're steering. This is the menu where you actually reverse the function of the gyro. So if you move the car and the wheels are turning the wrong way, this is where you'd reverse it, not in the channel. So you have to make sure your servo's set up first for your steering. So if we look at this one, if we said we'd got that where we need to reverse it, we can go in. Let's reverse this channel. So now we can say we've got a steering going right way. Then we'd have to come in, turn his SVC on. So that's the stability control turned on. Now if I move gyro, we can see I've purposely used a slower servo, so it should give you a chance to see what this does. So if we move it that way, it tries to counter steer the opposite way. And if you needed to correct that, you'd go in and we can change this. So now it's counter steering the same way. So that's where you'd reverse the actual gyro functionality, not where you'd reverse the servo channel. Then we've got steering gain. So the higher or lower we do this is how much it's going to actually interact or how much it's going to affect. You see, you have it low, you get almost no counter steering. And then as we turn it up, you get a crazy amount of counter steering for a tiny little bit of input onto the gyro. Now, when you've got this all set up, you've also got your throttle gain. The higher you put that number, the more it's going to affect the throttle. You've got the priority of how you want it to actually drive. This is where you'd calibrate it. So you keep the model still, press calibrate, and then it'll zero itself. Basically with the priority, the lower you have it set, the more it's going to prioritize keeping the vehicle straight rather than allowing you to turn. So if you imagine a lower number will give you a more stable vehicle that's least likely to switch ends or anything or do anything unpredictable, but you'll have the biggest turning circle. The higher this number up to 100%, the tighter it will let you turn. So the more it will prioritize you actually turning the vehicle sharp without it trying to sort of interact with the gyro and push it wider, trying to keep it straight. Hope that makes a bit of sense. This one is also another calibration. So you center your throttle and your steering and then press it. That way it knows where center point is. One other thing you can do with the G7P, although you can't, or I haven't yet on this firmware found any way to assign the sort of the settings, you can go in and you can go onto a switch, and then if we scroll down, you've got SVC. So now we've got that set to switch 1. What we should be able to see is that's the gyro on, and then you press the button, gyro off, gyro on, gyro off. So although you can't on the fly change your settings by assigning it to buttons, you can turn your gyro on and off. Can't really see it being much of an issue because you tend to set the gyro up in here and test it and get it driving how you like, and then you won't really change many of these settings, and you can actually drive the RC with these settings on screen, and you can go in and you can change these as well. So quite a straightforward one to use. Just cover the battery voltage detection, which you can see on the side, goes into this top one. So we plug that in. If, like this, it's the LiPo you're actually running the vehicle off, you only need to plug in the positive, you don't need the negative. And then you can go, so if you press straight down on the latest firmware, you can go through to battery voltage detection. You can select which actual thing you want on that sensor spot. And there's quite a lot to choose from. So battery voltage detection, you can go down, you can set an alarm as well. So going to want it set over 12 volt. And then probably 9.9 volt because this is a 3S setup. So just by hitting down, you can see that your battery's fine, and it'll also bleep and warn you if the battery's going lower than what you'd like it to. Nice way of monitoring the battery, especially when your receiver is powering from your ESC. So your RX voltage is actually your BEC voltage. So it's whatever this BEC is sending out to your receiver, and then your BVD is monitoring your actual LiPo pack that you're running car off. Does come in quite useful. And again, you've got all the stopwatch features and everything else. So yeah, really nice little receiver. And I'm sure a lot of people are going to like it for the full gyro effect. Again, with all the Flysky, the SVC is not just the steering, it also can be dialed into the throttle as well. So let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, the FS-R7V gyro receiver working on the G7P. It's quite nice that it's got a decent antenna. I think this, yeah, same as normal, 3.5 to 9 volt. So you're fine running the 8.4 volt higher voltage servos, which if you do go down the route of running any of the gyros, the servo will be your weakest point. So if you're going to run a gyro, don't run a slow servo, because the gyro can only correct as quick as your servo can react. There are fantastic servos out for not a lot of money. In a lot of my race cars, I tend to run AGF RC. They've been really, really reliable and really fast, really powerful servos. There's also the 9i mods that I run in the cheaper RCs, and they're proving to be really quick, really reliable. That would be something that would be cracking to sort of pair up with a gyro stability control receiver, because they do have the speed to keep up with the gyro. What you'll notice, if your servo's not quick enough, rather than the gyro correcting the car, it'll kind of wander around and start oscillating, and you'll have to back the gyro down and down and down, and then you're kind of losing the effectiveness of the gyro. Whereas if your servo is fast enough, you can run that gain a lot higher, and you'll see the wheels move like lightning, and it'll sort of correct your car. But yeah, there you have it. Nice little receiver, and I think Flysky's knocked it out at park again with not only gyro but full throttle control, so full stability control at vehicle. But thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.